Hey, this is Kenny with Welsh Hormone Optimization, bringing you another training video. Today, we're doing legs for mass with NPC bodybuilder Colby Oaks. Okay, you can see here he's just starting off with some super light single leg extensions just to warm up, get some blood in the joint, get some blood, moving through the muscle, warm the muscle up before he jumps into some heavy squats. So every video I say this, but it doesn't matter because it may be the first video that you end up seeing or just for the sake of saying it. Huge about warming up. Everybody should be huge about warming up. Everybody's tough until they get injured. And then nobody wants to warm up, but you absolutely have to. And you can ask any older guy who's been training for a long time, and they'll say, man, I used to jump under the bench and fucking get straight to 3 plates or whatever. And you'll say, well, how'd that go for you? And then they're like, yeah, I got fucking elbow pain every day of my life. And yeah, so warm up. Avoid injuries. Be preventative. Be intelligent. It doesn't make you tough to just jump straight into heavy-ass weight. Plus, if you're properly warmed up and stretched out and everything too, you will be more productive. You'll be stronger. You'll be able to get through more sets, more reps, all that. So be smart. So anyways, moving on to a little bit of a heavier set. This exercise I wasn't using to necessarily emphasize the exercise of a leg extension. It was more just to warm him up to get him into some squats. You can see the big old freaking tree trunk legs there. And that's actually some pretty good weight. So leg extensions are not necessarily meant to go super heavy. They don't quite work with the progressive overload like that, but he's a big boy. He can do what he wants. And he's getting the reps, no problem anyway, so good to go. Big old legs are probably freaking big as his waist. I think at this point they're probably pretty damn near. Alright, here we go, moving into squats. Same thing, still warming up, going through the motion, just the bar. And he squats well. I mean, he has great squat form. Very, bodybuilding style, whereas a powerlifter might have a wider stance. This is focused on building muscle, not on getting heavy weight. But, you lift as heavy as you can while doing proper form to build muscle as a bodybuilder or as anybody that's just exercising. Powerlifters, their stances, the way that they do exercises are to get maximum weight out of what they're doing. Anybody else doesn't need to be doing that. You're trying to work muscle. So that's what we're doing. He's stretching out here still warming up before he jumps into some real sets. Alright, starting out with some actual weight. This is nothing for him, but it'd be good for me. 1 plate, getting into it, still has perfect form, deep squats. See that he's not overextending. When you do a squat, you want your feet about hips width apart, shoulders width apart, not particularly much wider. Toes just slightly angled out. And if you don't have injuries, you should be going pretty deep like this. And you'll hear pretty much everybody say that. If you do have a knee injury and you need to avoid it and stay in that upper range of motion, sure, do what you got to do. Colby is injury free, so he's squatting, ass to the grass. But he keeps perfect form. You see his toes aren't overextending, or his knees aren't overextending his toes. That's when you get poor form. People who lean super far forward, their knees overextend their toes, you're asking for knee problems. You're putting pressure on the joint rather than on the muscle. But his structure is, very well built to handle squats. So this is no problem for him. He's jumping in 2 plates like that would be my last set, probably right there. The most I've ever personally done was 4 plates for like 8 reps, but he just plays with that. Going 3 plates, still going deep, still by himself. Doesn't need a spotter. Does have a belt. That's super smart. Weight belts are extremely important on exercises that are compound like this. They let you use your stomach to push up against them. They push up against your spine, straighten you out, give you some support for your back. Very good. Okay. Also, you see here, he's using knee wraps. This is another thing that powerlifters do, but as a bodybuilder, it's also smart. Knee wraps put tension on the tendons to, support them through heavy exercises like this. So now he's moving on to 4 plates. I'm going to spot him here. Still going deep, still good form. And you can see there, as a spotter, I'm not taking any weight off of him. All I'm doing is just, giving him peace of mind. If he needs it later on, I don't think he does in this set, but, just for a certain fraction of the motion, I might kind of offset weight just a little bit as a spotter, but there, I didn't have to do anything. With a spotter, you never want to just be ripping weight off people, because what fucking good is that? They need to be doing their work, and all you're doing is making sure that they don't hurt themselves. So here he's moving up, 4 plates and a quarter, still deep. Still all him. Up. No, head up. Push. Up. 3. Up. 2. Yeah, you can see he's putting some effort in now. The reps are slowing down a little bit, but still in full control. I mean, he had this absolutely. And that's big weight, and especially for a 20-year-old. Moving on, walking lunges. So, walking lunges with the bar on your back puts more of an emphasis on your hamstrings and glutes. Of course, you're absolutely using your quads. Lunges, period, are particularly a quad-dominant exercise, but you can shift, the favor slightly over to hamstrings and glutes. And I wanted him to do these particular variations, basically, with the bar on his back, because he I don't want to say lacks, that's not the right word. He could benefit on stage from more glute development from the rear. As a bodybuilder, it's very important. Everybody knows, as a bodybuilder, you win shows. Shows are won from the back. All great bodybuilders, like I've always said, Ronnie Coleman, Dorian Yates,
you're done, just drop it.
Phil Heath. These people have tremendous posterior, everything. Their back, their lower back, their freaking glutes, their hamstrings, calves, everything. So this is a very good exercise to build glutes.
Focus on the glutes. Just push off.
Like Ronnie Coleman. Those old training videos of him at Metroflex in Texas in the parking lot with fucking 315 on his back, and it's like 120 degrees outside, and he's just lunging out in the heat like it's nothing. And he had the craziest glutes known to fucking man. And this is a long set for him to go, down and then all the way back. I'd be dying. All right, bumping the weight up a little bit. 135 pounds or so. Obviously, if that bar is 45. With the lunge, you want to step out. Knee about 90 degrees. Come all the way down. You don't want to slam your knee. Just barely touch it. Lift yourself up. Think about your glutes here in this particular variation. If you're doing it with dumbbells, then you would be, more quad dominant, more building muscle around the knee. But in this, we're gearing towards posterior chain. hamstrings, glutes. Lunges are also, a great mass builder overall. The range of motion works the quad just incredibly thoroughly. Inner, outer, everything. Gassing out a little bit, slowing down. See, we got the rubber weights, powerlifting weights, so that he could drop it off right there and not hurt the ground and not be an asshole and be too loud. But this is 1 o'clock in the morning, so that's just the way that his schedule works. He gets off work at 11. Only time he has to work out is pretty much in the middle of the night. So met him down there, put him through this workout, killed him. Bumping up the weight even more. This is just a one-way pass, just straight down. It's a good ways though. And these right after those heavy squats is just fucking killer. So great for mass, which this leg exercise is geared towards mass building. And that's the phase that he's in right now, obviously. He's in the off season. So now we're just trying to put on quality mass and keep it on, so that when he diets back down, he'll have more density, more muscle maturity. Being so young, that's a thing that young people lack, is the density. So you can be big, but when you diet down, that you can lose a ton of freaking mass just because you don't own it yet. It's hard to explain, but it's just not that old, hard, grainy, gritty, dense muscle. So that's what we're trying to accomplish this off season for him. Okay, so we killed the quads. Moving into some hamstring moves. Lying hamstring curl. Think of this as like a bicep curl on a preacher machine for your arms, because your hamstring is a bicep. It is just the bicep of the leg. It's the exact same thing. The mechanism works exactly the same way. So treat it the same way. Heavy, heavy curls. Obviously within control. And we do a couple different hamstring curl variations here. They seem to hit different ways. A lying hamstring curl, I feel, makes thick through the middle and the lower, like the tie-in behind the knee. And I feel like the standing hamstring curl hits up a little bit higher, more towards your butt, especially a seated hamstring curl, which we don't do in these, but different variations hit different ways. So explore those options. Lying hamstring curl, standing single leg hamstring curl, seated 2-leg, single leg, whatever machines you have available, use them. This machine right here is super heavy too. Like, that's lightweight there in theory, but it's very fucking hard. So we switched machines just to get a different feel out of a different piece of equipment. And these strive machines here are awesome because you see they have 3 placings for the weight there. There's that 45 on the center, there's a 25 there on the bottom, and you can load weight on the top as well. And it changes the tension point to where the weight bears more, in a different position. So here, it's heavy in the center and heavy up top, but not so stressful at the very bottom, which a hamstring curl you don't necessarily need because you're focusing more towards the top. And you're trying to get these and squeeze these all the way up to your ass. So you can see he's bracing himself there with his hands, holding himself up so he doesn't slide down because it's heavy weight. And I'm having him curl them all the way up. Knees just past 90 degrees, all the way up, just like you do a bicep curl. Think of arms here, because that's the way that hamstrings grow. And it's a thing that people lack too, big time, is hamstring development. Because we don't ever think about it. It's the back of your leg. All you think about is flexing your quad. Think about a guy who had, phenomenal triceps, which is great, and you should have thick triceps. but you had no bicep whatsoever. You've never done a fucking curl in your whole entire life. You would look weird. So that same thing needs to be applied to your legs to create a complete balanced physique. And thick hamstrings,
All the way up.
create thick legs, especially from the side, like in side chest shots, side tricep shots,
just slam it
and then obviously all from the rear. They're extremely important, and they set people apart. And we're not saying that everybody watching this video is a bodybuilder or wants to be, Mr. Olympia or anything, but everything in the world needs to be done correctly. It needs to be done balanced. It needs to be complete. It's just, how many memes have you seen where they show somebody rudely snuck a picture of a dude with huge arms and just toothpicks for legs, and it's the whole never let your bro skip leg days shit. Like, work them thoroughly. We're moving into some heavier weight here. Single leg hamstring curl. Bumping them up even further. Progressive overload. I say this in every single video. It's pretty much the way that I feel everybody should be training. As your sets progress, your weights should progress as well. And as your weights progress, if you're pushing into failure like you should be, then your reps will be decreasing, because you say you were doing a hamstring curl here and you were doing 65 pounds and you completely just failed at 16 reps, and then you put on 15 more pounds. You should not physically be able to get 16 reps again. It just shouldn't be possible. So obviously your reps should be coming down 14, 12, whatever. That's progressive overload. That builds strength, that builds endurance, that builds mass. Alright, last set for these standing hamstring curls. See, we're going to do, a triple or quadruple drop set here. And a drop set means you use your last weight extremely heavy. You go to complete failure. You have somebody there. They pull the freaking pin. They lighten up the weight, or you do it yourself. See, I'm telling them, pull yourself forward. Don't let your ass slide back down. Because if you're sliding back, that's where you need to be focusing. So he's going to failure again. I'm helping him. Dropping the weight. Drop set. Okay? So now we've dropped twice. Triple drop set. I don't know why I said twice like that. See, now he's just gassed out, so I'm just pushing it, helping him keep pushing it deeper and deeper into failure. The muscles have recruited, all the fibers that they can get at this point. And when I talk about recruiting muscle fibers, think about if your car broke down and you were, pushing your car down the street. Recruiting muscle fibers would be like all your neighbors coming out and seeing you trying to do something, trying to accomplish something. Everybody starts helping. The longer you push, the more people start helping. The more people push, the more people get tired. With muscle fibers, they do the same thing. They recruit their friends, basically. If you tire out, you wear out, you break down all of their fucking friends, then you have that much more that has to be healed. Now, if you're breaking down that many muscle fibers and you're properly healing them through proper nutrition post-workout, then more growth will take place. You can see this side a little bit better. See, we drop it, he gets right back at it. And in these sets, you can use help from your friends. I mean, they're not trying to bear the load for you, but they're trying to separate the difference of tension that you can actually put out at this point. This is just pushing it to the max. This is just taking everything that you have and just throwing it all out there at these last exercises. And this might seem simple. This exercise, watching this might seem like, oh, I could go do that. Well, Go try it. Even if you can, and if you do, then good for you. But it might not be as easy as you think it is. And that goes to show, how productive this is. This is just how it's done. This is how muscle is built. And you might, building muscle might not be necessarily be your goal. You might just want, a nice, good-looking physique. But the more muscle mass you carry, the faster your metabolism is, because you have more living tissue. The higher metabolic rate that you have, the more you naturally burn fat. And everybody wants to be lean. So you can see fruits of the labor going on here. Just tree trunks. So yeah, this works.
Hamstring.
And there's the hamstrings there. That's what I mean from the side. Look at that thickness. Like, that's a properly built leg. Properly balanced. Alright, so this is Kenny Wright, bringing you another leg day for mass. Colby Oaks, my test dummy here today. So, thank you. See ya.